What is a sane retry? How did I pick this username? Well, I used a random word generator. Simple as that. There's a bunch of these. Let's just click on the first one as an example. I didn't just tell it to give me 2 random words. A lot of them can generate a whole bunch at a time, which is what I did. And one of the cool things about the human brain is that it forms connections or recognizes patterns, even when there aren't any. So let's scroll down a list and see if there's any cool usernames in here. Parking remember. That's kind of a good superpower to have. Cake age. The age where you get a birthday cake. Some of us, when we get older, we no longer get a cake. River plane. It's a very specific type of seaplane. Beard evoke. Maybe it's like a kind of sorcery. The ability to evoke a beard from nowhere. Method factory. Orientation peasant. Like a peasant who shows up and shows you around. Peasant era. I kind of like this one. It's like, yeah, I'm not poor. I'm in my peasant era. Discount expertise. That's not bad. Like you make a YouTube channel, but like you give like kind of bad advice. Discount expertise. You get what you pay for. I'm not an expert, but I'm going to tell you how anyway. Rank pony. Rank pony flu. Okay, that could be pretty good. Like, there's this pony. It smells terrible. It also has a disease. Yeah, okay, rank pony flu. Pony flu is also pretty good, just on its own. Although rank pony and pony flu, both good. Flu obstacle. Obstacle bin. Kill flush. Flush watch. That could be kind of perverted, like someone who watches people flush. That's a real pervert username right there. Flush watch. Property torch. That's kind of anarchic. That's what like a Molotov cocktail does, doesn't it? It's a property torch. Torch orchestra. Now there's a good one, like an orchestra and all of their instruments are like on fire or something. That's kind of cool. Orchestra sniff. Again, pervert stuff when you have sniff in there. What are you doing? You're sniffing every member of the orchestra? You're sniffing their instruments, their seats? What are you sniffing? Same thing with the next one. Sniff woman, total pervert shit. Woman friend. Okay, acceptable. Are you a friend to women or are you a woman who is a friend? Interest baby. Ah, so you're like a beginner hobbyist. You have interests, but your baby is your rank. Or maybe you want people to baby you. I don't know. Baby convulsion. Holy shit, that's fucking dark. Okay. If you want like a provocative username, you're going 90s edgelord usernames, baby convulsion. That's fucking dark. Tail score. A little horny, kind of furry, something maybe Gex would be into. Weight trainer. Oh, that's kind of a pun, isn't it? Like weight training, but it's the training of how to wait, or maybe how to be a waiter. Okay, there's some pun potential there. Trainer waist. Like a stool sample from your personal trainer? Where does all the trainer waste go? In the toilet, in the sewers, with all the other types of waste. You don't separate out trainer waste unless you're some kind of pervert who keeps trainer waste in a jar. Waste bread. Don't waste bread. If you have old bread, you could like feed it to the ducks at a pond. Bread tear. Or bread tier. Common slave. If you're in a society where slaves are common, that's a bad society. Irony inflation. This is the second time inflation has showed up. I am doubting the randomness of this generator. Someone who's into inflation, but ironically. Inflation, no. Maybe that's a good username. You are drawing a line at inflation. No metal. I like that one. Whether it's your military service or your participation in a sporting event, no medal. You didn't get one, and you're proud of it. Bed disgrace, no medal. deathbed disgrace. Disgrace reveal. That's also evocative. Like a hidden disgrace that is revealed. Thin, proud. That sounds fatphobic. That sucks. Proud cylinder. Proud cylinder. That does sound kind of like a penis euphemism, maybe, right? Like if you're writing one of those kind of romance novels that uses a lot of alternate terms, his proud cylinder could, yeah, maybe. Thread flight. Spiders do that. Sensitive accident. Okay. This one also seems kind of euphemistic. Like if a politician shit themselves at like a banquet or something, like you had a sensitive accident that we won't discuss. Accident allow. The implication's kind of funny. Like somebody who sees an accident about to occur and just lets it happen. It's evil. Float factory. I'm imagining like a root beer float factory. Mold noble. Interesting. This is like a fantasy character. You go to a fantasy kingdom where everybody is made of mold. Death to the mold nobles. The mold peasants should overthrow them. Noble want. I don't give a shit what the nobles want. Pilot place. You mean the airport? Pilot place crash. Oh no. Crash exhibition. Interesting. Just like the movie Crash. Exhibition murder. That one's pretty cool. Dark, but like some kind of like sick like art installation. I'm imagining as it's like a performance, but like involving a real murder. Murder Ministry. There we go. That's an interesting one. That definitely sounds like a band name, right? Coffin glow. Jest funeral. Pretty good. Jewel wagon. Wow. Okay. A wagon for hauling jewels. Boring. A wagon made of jewels. That's an interesting image. Wagon joy. A wagon that brings joy. Genetic miracle. That's like a very self-aggrandizing kind of username, though. I'm going to be suspicious if somebody calls himself a genetic miracle. Astonishing tycoon. Does the tycoon, like, give all their money to charity? That'd be pretty astonishing. Describe bother. That's like what Winnie the Pooh's therapist would say. Could you describe the bother? Soak emotion. Maybe that could be like a Mormon username. Harm queue. You're standing in line at the harm queue. Aren't we all? Assessment rabbit. I kind of like the idea of there's this rabbit whose job it is to do assessments. What kind? I don't know. You just leave that to the imagination. Rabbit watch. Okay, either a watch for a rabbit or we're all on rabbit watch. We're watching for rabbits. So I found the words sane and retry in much the same way. And immediately, my mind went to the quote, "Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results." This quote is often attributed to Albert Einstein, which is what I thought too, since that's what everybody told me growing up, but no evidence exists that he ever said it. In fact, the first appearance of it showed up in an October 1981 newspaper article about Al-Anon, which is like Alcoholics Anonymous, except it's a support group for families and friends of alcoholics. In the context of someone who has found themselves in an unhealthy pattern living with an addict, the quote makes a lot of sense. And once people heard it, it caught on fast. Only a month later, in November 1981, Narcotics Anonymous used a variation of it in one of their pamphlets. Insanity is repeating the same mistakes and expecting different results. Educators, novelists, actors, and journalists would all go on to share the quote, and by 1990, it became attributed to Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein died in 1955. He then had to travel Snake Way and undergo grueling training from King Kai before becoming strong and wise enough to create the quote, which is why it took him until 1981 to teleport to Earth one last time and offer this pearl of wisdom to those suffering from addiction. It's very inspiring. Thank you, Einstein. Not many people know this, but the higher power referred to in 12-step programs is Super Saiyan Level 4 Einstein. When I saw those two random words together, sane, retry, I quite liked it. It sounded kind of aspirational. Because of the quote, it implied breaking a pattern that wasn't working and trying again, but with a clear head, with wisdom or insight. The word retry shows up in a lot of video games, usually after you've died or failed. In other games, the word is continue. Both are aspirational. They're about not giving up. An artist I deeply admire is David Bowie. I admire how he strove to always try something new. Some artists will find one thing that makes them popular and just do that for the rest of their lives. But David Bowie kept changing, kept reinventing himself. One of those personas was even called Sane. I admire how his albums all sound so different. Not all of his changes or attempts were popular, but that didn't stop him. A lot of artists get discouraged and end up quitting. He kept going. He kept trying. So it's important not to give up. But it's also important to think about our failures and reflect on them. What went wrong? How can we change? Can we learn from our mistakes? I believe we should try. So, thanks, random word generator. In the random garbage you spit out, I found a username and words to live by. Thanks for watching.